Here's the preview of the Baylor versus Cincinnati men's basketball game. And the reason why I'm doing a preview of this is because Cincinnati is receiving votes. That's the only reason. After that, I wouldn't do it. And the game will be played on January 13th at 7 p.m. Central Time on ESPN. And Cincinnati is coming off of a loss to Texas at home in Cincinnati by a single point. 74-73 to be exact. And Texas made a late shot in the game to win. But this Cincinnati team went on the road to BYU and won by 11 points. So, that's just making a note. And Baylor's obviously 2-0 in the conference with a win over Oklahoma State in overtime in their first game. 75-70, and Baylor beat number 18 BYU last night. 80, or whenever you're seeing this preview here, the last game, 81-72. So I'm just making a note of that. And I do not know if CJ Frederick is going to play for this game for Cincinnati, and he's supposedly out indefinitely with the hamstring. He's number 5, 6'1", 215-pound guard. That's a senior. 7.5 points per game, 22 for 50 on threes, 10 for 10 free throws, 1.5 fouls per game. And I will put that in the description below for all the guys that keep an eye on it. And like I said, I am not so sure he's going to play. He hasn't been playing for a little bit, so we'll have to wait and see. But I highly doubt it. Now I'm going to go over some other players to keep an eye on. And I'm honestly not going to go over a few guys because they're not going to contribute into the game any stretch of the imagination, including those 3 players with 0 points per game and 1 player with 3 points per game because he doesn't play that much. So I'm just going to make a note of that for y'all up front. So the leading scorer for the team is Victor Lakin, number 30, 6'11", 240-pound forward. That's a junior. 14.1 points per game. 13 for 39 on threes, 24 for 44 on free throws. 8.1 rebounds per game, 2.3 assists per game, 1.5 turnovers per game, 0.7 steals per game, 1 block per game, 1.7 fouls per game. Dane Skillings Jr., number 0, 6'6", 215-pound guard. That's a sophomore. 10.9 points per game, 13 for 48 on threes, 30 for 42 on free throws. 6.3 rebounds per game, 1.3 turnovers per game, 1.4 fouls per game. Day Thomas, number 1, 6 foot, 185-pound guard. That's a junior. 10.3 points per game, 13 for 48 on threes, 32 for 41 on free throws, 2.6 rebounds per game, 3 assists per game, 1.9 turnovers per game, 1.6 steals per game, 1.9 fouls per game. Simon Lukosis, Lukosius. I apologize if I butcher that name, but that's why I spell it out to y'all, so y'all can help if you want or you know how to pronounce that name. So I'm just saying that up front. Number 41, 6'8", 225-pound guard. That's a junior. 9.5 points per game, 25 for 61 on threes, 11 for 14 on free throws, 2.9 rebounds per game. 3.3 assists per game, 1.8 turns per game, 0.7 fouls per game. John Newman III, number 15, 6'5", 215-pound forward. That's a senior. 8.9 points per game, 11 for 32 on threes, 25 for 33 on free throws, 5.1 rebounds per game, 1.5 turns per game, 1.5 steals per game, 2.1 fouls per game. Jizzle James, yeah, that's his real name, Jizzle. Yeah, I'm just saying. Not to make fun of it, I know some of y'all might be questioning about that name, but yeah, it's his real name. Number 2, 6'1", 295-pound guard. That's a freshman. 8.5 points per game. 10 for 28 on threes. 25 for 31 on free throws. 2.1 rebounds per game. 2.3 assists per game. 1.1 turns per game. 1.1 fouls per game. Aziz Bandago. Bandagogo, number 55, 7 foot, 235-pound forward. That's a senior. 8.4 points per game. 1 for 1 on threes. 20 for 33 on free throws. 8.8 rebounds per game. 0.6 turns per game. 1.4 blocks per game. 2.1 fouls per game. Jamil Reynolds, Jamille, just to make sure on that. Number 13, 6'11", 275-pound forward. That's a senior. 6.7 points per game. 1 for 3 on threes. 7 for 12 on free throws. 4.3 rebounds per game. 1.2 turns per game. 1.3 fouls per game. Now Odi Ujuama, Oguama, number 33, 6'9", 230-pound forward. That's a sophomore. 3.7 points per game, 1 for 2 on threes, 10 for 19 on free throws, 3.3 rebounds per game, 0.7 blocks per game, 1.7 fouls per game. Okay, the last player I'm going to mention here, I know he's below one player, but the other guy in front of him doesn't play. And it's Josh Reed, number 10. 6'7", 220-pound guard. That's a sophomore. 2.8 points per game. 9 for 19 on threes. 2 for 4 on free throws. 2.5 rebounds per game. 0.7 fouls per game. I'm going to address this up front. You got to stay composed all game long and try to withstand runs. If the other team goes on the run, you got to come back on the run like yourself. And kind of like you did in that BYU game twice. I mean, you were down early against BYU. In the second half, you were down by 9, but you climbed back in it. And it was back and forth. But then once Baylor took the lead again, I mean, later on, you know the exact time. It's hard to remember everything. Or when you look at the play-by-play, I mean. I'm just saying once Baylor took the lead by 2 possessions, Baylor never let up. And you got to be the tougher team out there, physically and mentally. I'm just saying that, and you guys keep your cool. And do not want to get technical fouls like Jacoby Walter did the last night. I'm just saying, and you don't want flagrant 1s or flagrant 2s. I'm just saying that. And you got to limit your foul trouble across the board. Of course, you would like for the opponent to be in foul trouble. I'm just pointing that up front. And now defensively, you got to contain the shooters and don't give them any clean looks and contain the slashers. And you got to do a better job on the glass defensively in this game. And as you can tell, Cincinnati has a lot of height. I mean, in particular at the guard position. And that's the same Cincinnati team, like I said, that beat BYU at BYU. So this is not a cakewalk of a game, nor any game in the Big 12 is, in that matter. I'm just pointing it out. I mean, that's true. You got to make them force turnovers and limit the fast break / transition points. Limit the points in the paint. 3-point line. And of course, you don't want them to live at the free throw line. And at least you did that against BYU last game. I mean, you got more free throws than they did. So, I'm just saying. And I know part of it is because BYU was not driving to the basket as much. It's kind of like Baylor, last year's Baylor is BYU. They shoot a lot of threes, but they just don't drive. And all this, I'm just saying, and that's the truth. And you got to do a good job on the inbounds, both side out and underneath. Don't give them any clean looks at the basket. You got to make adjustments on the fly on both sides of the court, of course. Not just first half to second half, but timeout to timeout. You know, I'm just pointing it out. And you got to limit the points off turnovers, like I said, fast break / transition, points in the paint. And I know BYU won that battle last night, but you know, it's the truth. But at that point, you rather not give up a lot of threes to BYU. And like I said, don't give them any clean looks. And make them turn the ball over more than you do. And thus goes on to offensive side of things. You got to get some transition points / fast break. Some points in paint, even if it's just like a drive to the basket. I mean, that's the thing. You got to rebound the ball better, too. I mean, on that side, I'm just saying that up front. You got to take good, clean looks. You got to have a little bit more ball movement. I know it's been down the last few games, but we're playing against good defenses, and it's hard in the Big 12 as is, as you know. And sometimes your best offense is your defense. So go out and run. I mean, that's the thing. You got to get some second chance points in there. You got to get points from the 3-point line. And hopefully you keep that good shooting that you had in the second half going forward, and not like that start of the BYU game where you start 4 for 16 at one point in the game. But you get the whole point. And all this. What else? You gotta do a good job of underneath, like out of bounds plays, both side out and underneath the basket. You gotta protect the ball, obviously. And you did a good job the last 2 games below 10 turnovers, including 5 against BYU last night. So I'm just saying that when you take care of the ball, it's pretty hard to lose. You gotta shoot the ball. I would like to see the shooting percentage a little bit better overall on offense than last 2 games. I would like that. And defensively, I want that percentage from the BYU game to be down a little bit more. I mean, more, obviously, when you look at the numbers. But Baylor is just getting... And get some steals on defense and / blocks. And more blocks and steals than the opponent, if possible. And you want that to be limited on your side of things when you're on offense. And I'm going to say this. You got to have your bench step up at times and do their role. I'm just saying. And you do need, like, Jacoby Walter to go off like he did in the first half. And hopefully he has a little bit more. I mean, Jacoby to step up, Walter to step up, Ray J. Dennis, even if he's not like a scorer, but you get the whole point. And all this, so he needs to do what he needs to do. Langston Love off the bench, yeah, he's been a catalyst off the bench. That it would be helpful to have like Jerome Bridges step up like he did last night with 25 points. Again, so that would really be helpful. And East Missy, hopefully he has a bounce back game coming up. He did not do well, but I'm just saying that up front. And Jaden Nunn, yeah, it would be helpful to him to step up. Josh Uzuwuna, if he comes in for East Missy, do his role for the team. I'm just saying. And Antoine Grimes, if he gets to play, which I don't know if he's going to. He didn't play last game. Mira Little played a little bit, but not a lot. But either way, if you're in the game, one of these two or both of those guys, you got to do your roles respectively. Caleb Lohner as well. I know he played a little bit, but here, and we all know Jonathan Chachua has not been the same since that knee injury against Texas 2 years ago. But even if it's like a bench role, like helping the guys coach them up a little bit from a player that was a really high contributor and has a good basketball IQ to help him out. And I know he didn't play last night, but you get the whole point. If he gets to play, yeah, just to do your role. And you got to box out on every missed shot and every missed free throw, because you don't want to give the opponent the second chance at it. I mean, you got to make adjustments on the fly, like I said. And you kind of have to take away their best players as much as possible, obviously, or make them really work hard for it. Like, a lot more shots to get to that point and make them ineffective. I mean, that's the thing. Don't want to give them any clean looks, and don't let them get going. at all. Because they were down against BYU, but then BYU got cold. And they were cold most of that game. With the exception to Trevin Nell. I mean, that's the thing. And they made enough shots and they drove to the rim. So you got to stand your ground and be the physical the tougher team physically. And I get there might be some questionable calls here and there, but you got to move on and make some plays happen. And you got to go out there and leave no doubt. And this is your third game in the Foster Pavilion. And you need to show Cincinnati, hey, you're not going in here and pushing us around. I'm just saying. That is the truth in all this. And I mean, if you can make Cincinnati, and what did Cincinnati do last night though? Not win that game against Texas. Besides that one possession late in the game, Texas got a jump shot late. So what did they do statistically? That's the thing. They let Texas shoot the ball a little bit better than them overall from the field, but not on threes. They only made 35% on 20 attempts. They only got to the free throw line 10 times. And here's the thing. Cincinnati did not make the free throws last game. And they don't shoot a ton of... they only shot 17 threes last game. So, either way, you got to still get on the shooters and don't let them get comfortable. I mean... And they won a rebounding battle. Cincinnati did despite the loss. So, I'm just telling you the truth. And you got to have more... You got to have, give to the hot hand offensively. I mean, that's the thing. Whoever's on fire at that moment, try to give it to them. And you kind of try to take advantage of mismatches at times, too. Both on offense. You got to take advantage of that. And honestly, on defense, just got to stand your ground and don't give them anything. Easy. And get up on there. Of course, you got to make adjustments to the refs, how they call the game. I'm just saying, and they had less steals than Texas did, but they had 2 more blocks. They also turned the ball over 4 more times than Texas did, but they only committed 10 fouls, unlike Texas 19, but that's the truth. And they did have more bench points. However, Texas had more double-digit, they had 4 double-digit scores, and Cincinnati only had 3, including for a Texas guy with 33 in the game. So, everybody else combined, the double-digit scores for Texas combined for, okay, that's 43, 53, 68 points, yeah, that's right. Now, Cincinnati had, 3 guys in double figures that combined for... That's 47 points last night. And they did have 2 other guys with 6 or more points that combined for 13. So, yeah. And it's important to stay balanced offensively. Though, like I said, if somebody is on fire, give it to the hot hand. And you got to make plays to win, guys. I'm just saying. And you got to not be intimidated by Cincinnati's jersey. Make plays so the crowd could go nuts. Because the atmosphere could really make a difference in the game sometimes. And it's the way it needs to be. And you got to go out there, make plays to win, and lead no doubt. Even if some people are going to question officiating for Cincinnati on what they did when compared to you, you got to make plays to win, guys. And you got to go out there and go to work. And like I said, hopefully Eves Missy and does better than last game. I hope so. I really hope. And continue that trend of not turn the ball over, but make them turn the ball over more. And don't let them any clean looks. And honestly, if you could shoot better a little bit at a time, I know you shot better than the game before against Oklahoma State, but I would like it to be better. But a little bit better. But either way, you got to come off of a fast start. And even if you don't come off to a fast start, kind of persevere through it. and climb back into the game. I mean, just keep on chipping away, and you're gonna make adjustments, and go out there, and say to yourself, "This is our home court. We're not going to get pushed around like this, and we're going to show you what we got. Let's go." So, anyways, if you like this content, like and subscribe. See you guys later. On the road to 600 subscribers. Cross ultimate goal is 1,000 more. So make money on this. Of course, liking the video, comment the video really helps YouTube algorithm, so more people can see it. Sharing the video does help as well, so more people can watch. And if you're watching and not subscribed, hit subscribe button. It's free. Hit the notification bell as well.